Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. On today's episode, let's have some fun playing around with drummers in GarageBand. Okay, so let's use GarageBand. I'm using version 10.0.3 for this. And let's create an empty project. And I'm going to add not a software instrument or audio input, but a drummer. And this will create the interface here for adding a drummer. Now let's get rid of the stuff here on the left since we're not going to use it, and just be able to see everything here for this drummer. Now we can change the drummer right here by selecting something different, like say an alternative, songwriter, all these different styles. But notice the only one here that has the name and color is the one I have installed, which is the one that's installed by default. You can get the other drummers by going into the GarageBand menu, and you can download more sounds, and you can select to download the drummers. But we're just going to focus on this default one here called Kyle. And we can select some presets here, and then we have this matrix where we can select between loud and soft and simple and complex. And we'll see that the drummer is inserted here with some sound. Let's hear what it sounds like if we just use these settings. Now let's look if we drag this down here to simple and soft. And now let's go to loud and complex. So we can experiment by moving the dot around here, changing the presets, and also setting which parts of the drum kit to use, and just some settings that will change what is being played. So let's try some things here. First I'm going to get rid of this second piece here to the drummer. It's got basically two pieces you can select. I'm going to get rid of the second one. Keep the first one here and set it to loop. So it's going to loop through here. So now I'm going to change this section for the drummer, and it's just going to continue to loop so I can hear as I experiment. You can see it changes right here instantly. I can even add things like tambourine and maracas, claps. And I can change the fill. That'll be a steady constant there, while this will fill more in. You can see right there and there. And I can make the drums swing a little. The great thing about all this is there's so many different settings and so many different ways you can change things that you've got a much wider variety of drums as before. Before you just had a bunch that you could choose from, a bunch of loops you can choose from. So, you know, even if you had 100 loops, chances are if you made something original to put as say background music for a video or something you were playing around with or putting into a project you were working on, it was going to sound a little bit like what somebody else would have created in GarageBand. But now we have so many settings here, let alone if you go and download all of the other drummers and their styles, that you can make something probably no one else has ever used and ever will use because your settings will be unique.